Okay. Um, so I'm back and I'm here to do a part 2 of the segment, getting involved and concerns about the Black community, um, getting more involved into the grassroots organizations, um, concerning what we are not doing. Now, lots of us are doing things, but we're not participating in I would say, organizations that combat the areas where is directly affecting our people. Now, I said something earlier about housing, and I was very serious about that. First, I feel that it's important that we become very active in activism, because since the beginning of time, when things were working against our people, we had no choice but to become activists. Now, I'm not asking anyone to get out here and do what I do or do what others do, but it is important to get off of our butts and start working to combat and fight a system that is somewhat destroying us in so many areas, such as unequal housing. We have police brutality. We have no jobs or jobs being taken away, and people that are just suffering out here. Something has to be done. Now, I feel we are contributing to the destruction of one's own community and people when we are silent and we just sit back, watch the news, believe the news, and do nothing. That is almost like taking a bullet and just taking part in the savage destruction of our people. Now, it's not hard to give a donation. If you're not going to donate, you can definitely come together and get involved. Again, contributing to the destruction of one's own community and people is happening in so many areas that we don't see it, but it's happening. When we drive by and catch, children out here with nowhere to go, no protections in their own environments, no safety, no secured places where they can go and feel at home. Like when you go in other areas, maybe to the suburbs, all of those communities that pour in and come together to do whatever to see that most of their people live the life and they have no issues with anything coming in there to destruct it, take over it, any of that. Now, that's probably economic development, which is something else I'm very serious about touching on in the future. And that's I do work. Well, I'm a student now, but I am getting educated on how that pouring back into our communities is very vital, you know. So it's just important that we return back to our leadership positions. And it's very important that those that are not leaders start getting actively involved in activism. I mean, the church, you need to be involved. There's just no excuse for it. Now, I don't tell anybody what to do, but I feel that God will bless you more if you pour it out into his storehouse and his kingdom all around. Not just in the four walls of a building, but I mean all around. And maybe, have you ever thought that if you had something out there, that would, the love that you give and the power of God being an influence on your love, your compassion, and your giving, just like what's given to you, given out to those, and it won't, some of them would love to pack up your place with more members, with more souls, when they know that they have a safe haven to go to when they see work being done to combat some of these very things I'm talking about. Now, I know I know we can't save the world, but we could definitely spark it, like Tupac said, one person at a time from the change. And so what if they don't get discouraged if somebody don't want to join your organization? That don't mean that you still can't come out and be a direct pillar in your community. Not from just talk, but work. Now, I know some of y'all are too old to get out here and work, but you could do something. I don't care if it's making sandwiches. I don't care if it's picking peanuts for those who are less fortunate out here. We have to help our own people. And you come up with some ideas. And think about how great that'll be. Not just during Christmas, not just during Thanksgiving, but all through the year. Think about the glory of just more people that you see helped, and you make that a mission, or you make that a sacrifice. You make that a vision to want to do for others. And I totally believe that when we do for others, things get done for us. I believe that. Now, I'm going to say again, for those of you, first I want to commend those that are already involved. I have been working day and night to have initiatives written, things that have changed, made miraculous change in your states. Those, your work, and those that have worked with you, that did everything. I commend you all for that. I commend those who have passed away, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, people that we have not heard, who didn't receive the credit that they deserve for putting their lives on the line for effective change. We have to keep their legacy going, not from talk, but from work. Now, I want to share with you my new website. My old one is no longer there anymore. And those that may want to get involved in economic development, you want to go to www.realworldeda.com. You can also go to my personal website at Andreka, AndrekaJean dot GoDaddySites.com. Again, that is Andreka dot GoDaddySites.com. And you can see some things, some work that I have done in the past in these communities all over, causing ripple effects for laws to change that I do not boast on, because I didn't do it by myself. Of course, there were movements that came together, that joined in, that helped me get the word out there. They did the groundwork, and some of us that put our lives on the line fought, and we continued to fight, and we had the triumph and the victories. And we still fighting. It didn't finish there. And my heart is going out to those who were a part of all of that. I will never forget you. I'm glad we're still doing it, and we still ain't done. We have to get victories. I'm talking to you organizations who, when people call you up and you're saying you cannot do nothing because of whatever. What we need is our jobs to figure out how to get some funding floating in there so we can do something. Like Obama said, yes, we can. Yes, we can take care of our communities. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I don't really believe housing, personally, is a black and white issue. I believe it's a human issue. And like I said, I've seen 70 black families get kicked out because of, you need to look up redlining and the racial barriers that was on housing. And I'm going to probably do another video of that in the future, because you who are on YouTube clowning, acting an utterant fool, attacking your own women, black women, who are on low-income Section 8 housing. You have no idea or any education on what's really the attack. You think it's a bunch of lazy women waiting on state government funding, when actually, have you heard anything about the outlining, the redlining, geographically targeting African American families and kicking them off on the street while your sons and your daughters, your nephews, your nieces are in those numbers? You looking at TV on YouTube and you seeing a wrongful portraying of these women being ratchet and depending on a system is what you're seeing. But what you don't know is that that is just a stereotypical part of, I'm going to go ahead and say it, white supremacy, tricking you into believing your own people are just so trifling. I got a woman on one video sitting up there looking a hot toe-up mess, talking about her own sisters. Just because somebody done married her and helped her out to get her off of that situation, she's on here clowning. And a whole bunch of y'all that made the videos clowning, and you have no idea that them women are employed. Yeah, some of them are in their third year nursing school and employed, and still are not making the market rates that are going to raise higher, which is going to make the markets go up more. You know what that means? Which is going to inflate and make more people, put more people on that housing list, waiting list for affordable housing. While you sit there on the side and crucify them. Because you have no idea what the real deal is. And you make me sick. You make me sick because you know nothing about it. You sitting up here, and then the ones that have fought it, like myself. Yes, I had a red wig on one of them PBS videos. I was the one. Look me up. Toya Thomas, Section 8, Seattle, Washington. And I had to put my life on the line because we were up against some real deal wealthy landowners. You know what a wealthy landowner is that don't want black folks living up under on their property? Okay, well, we fought against those. And we paid our rent. We didn't do nothing wrong. And mostly all them women were working. One of them, it was a vet. I'll tell her story for her. She was a vet employed. And just so happened to fall on, she's on that Section 8. See, when y'all think of Section 8, like I said, you think of something so trifling and so, you make it look like we're a bunch of women just ratchet and just sickening or desperate or people that are dependent on some system. Not the truth. Not the truth. And some of you was on it. And just like I said, somebody opened the door for you, gave you an opportunity, either married you or gave you a salary, or now you done got a business, went back to school, whatever you done did, good for you. Because they're trying doing the same thing too, what you did. So give them a chance. And some of them can't do nothing because they might have had special needs, totally codependent children that are now adults that they will have to care for the rest of their lives. And I know what you're thinking, well, where's the man at? Where the baby? Where was yours at? So basically they're supposed to be treated like animals. They're not human. They don't deserve a life like you. They deserve to just die because of their circumstances. Are you serious? You're not serious, are you? You need to educate yourself, like I said, on redlining and the racial barriers when it comes to affordable housing, boo. Do that first. And let's combat these people that are coming on these pages talking about kick them out. Kick out little black children. Kick out your people on the street. So can you imagine a whole street of Skid Row, like up in LA, of African Americans kicked out like in a country, exiled from all of their units with children out there, and you sitting up there watching on television? I hope y'all just die. Is really that's your spirit? And you call yourselves pro-black and saved and sanctified and filled? The devil is a liar. And you are one too, if that's how you think about your own people. You ought to be sadly ashamed, because the truth of the matter is, them is your people too, just like they are mine. And when you kick a little child out on the street, African American, black, white, Asian, Latino, Samoan, Somalian, don't matter. You kicked out another human being, and you basically saying, let's just throw you to the gallows and just die. You need to starve. Yeah, I hope nothing happens to none of them. Some of them is your kids. And you telling me, you saying, I don't care how you feel for your baby's mama or your baby's daddy, because they got some daddies out here too. And I commend them who are single fathers taking care of their children and seniors. You saying them little kids of yours deserve to sleep out on the street that did not ask to be here? And you ain't going to be the one to go over there and adopt them. So if we start seeing it, 50 states all around, children. I mean, I need you guys to put a real human face to this now. Children kicked out on the street, a cold, dangerous street. And I know it's already some people's reality. Okay, so it ain't even registered with those that have never seen it before. I know y'all that have lived in probably parts of those areas where no, funding has ever came. I understand you used to that type of stuff, seeing it. But let's really get this, let's really visualize this in human form. I'm talking about streets and streets and streets and streets of mothers with their children kicked out, homeless, and them babies can't go to school. The last thing they got to focus on is school with nowhere to live. And you who are against it are sitting back watching these YouTube videos and commenting saying they need to die. They need to die for trying to pick up their bootstraps. How are you any different from their oppressor? Answer that. How are you any different from an establishment that'll lock a bunch of brothers up in a prison and get paid for taxes, for prison labor? How is that any different to see if it was your mother or your grandmother that was kicked out on a street, unable to help themselves because they couldn't make those rates that are being handled by these wealthy landowners coming over to gentrify and buy up all the land. And just because you in your little chicken coop safe, you feel it's okay to talk about them. I'm here to tell you, it is going to come down on all of us. If you see a city of homeless people with nowhere to go, they're not allowed to use bathrooms, they're not allowed to shower, you think they ain't gonna come and take a crap behind your beautiful home or figure out a way to go and live? Think again, because somebody is coming to a porch near you. If you think you ain't gonna be a part of nothing and think you do not owe back to God, and if you don't believe in God, whatever creator or whoever you serve, if you think you do not have to answer to that deity for how you treat the people, think again. Because baby, what goes around, I don't care if you feel it could be just your attitude towards it. It will come back and haunt you. And guess what? Everything you got right now can be snatched right from under you. Like that. And don't think it can't happen to you just because you got money saved away. All you got to do is look at Katrina, baby. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this. For housing communities and organizations all over, I want to see momentum. I need to see y'all fighting at these capitals for fair and just laws to pass in your states, in your town, about unfair housing. We have to have our children housed. I don't care if you homeschool and they ain't in school, they need a place to call home. Okay? Now I'm going to go into some other things later on about marriage and all that stuff, because these women, don't look at them the way that the system and the way YouTube and all these people that are paid to channel these black women to look terrible when that's not the truth. Okay? Half of them, those are all lies. Those images are not telling the truth. The truth is, These women get up through snow, rain, every weather. They get up and they get off and they work hard. And they have no one to help them. And they're taking care of your babies. Some of you who have left them, they didn't give up. And all they have is their children that keep them going. And no matter what, that child is counting on a village, counting on you to tell them that they're going to be okay. So if you don't have a heart or nothing else, think about that. Think about those boys that are going to be black men someday, that say that this city of people said that my mother needed to die. She needed to be put out. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. So, I'm sorry, but it just affects me so much to see that people don't care and how they can turn on their own people. You know, we never see white folks do that to their people. We don't see Asian folks do that to their people. So why are we doing that? Somebody explain to me why. Us as a community. Please, let's change the narratives. Let's change the myths. Let's change the portrayal of our black queens who are being put out. And let's fight for these families, for these children, to have a safe, affordable home like everybody else. And we all owe it to each other. It takes a village to raise a child. And that child must see positive images of the mother, Africa, the land that God created. That is the God of all people. Now, thank you for watching. Think about what I said and charge it to your heart. Have a good one. God bless you. Part 2. Thanks.